After you create a pivot table in Excel, you can add custom formulas, either calculated fields or calculated items. And in this video, we'll see when to use either type of formula and what you can do with those formulas, such as combining several items into one or adding something to the total with a special calculation. This is Debra Dalgleish from Contextures.com. The two types of formulas in a pivot table are calculated field and calculated item. To create either of those, we would select a cell in the pivot table, go up to the Analyze tab, click Fields, Items, and Sets, and then we have a choice, calculated field or item. The calculated field lets us work with any of the fields in the pivot table, and the calculated items lets you work with any items in a specific field. So we'll try a calculated item first. And what we're going to do is work with this order status, and instead of having canceled plus 3 different types below it, we're going to combine all of these 3 into something called sold. Here I'll click calculated item. And the first thing we would do is give this a name, and I'm going to call it sold. And then we have to create our formula, and it right now just shows equals 0. And we can see all the fields in our pivot table here. And because I have order status selected, that's the one that it has highlighted in this list of fields, and it's showing all the items. But I could do something with any of the other fields if I prefer. If I wanted to work with the regions, I could click it and see its items. But we'll go back to order status, and what we want to do is get the total for back order plus pending plus shipped. And to do that, I'm going to double click on back order, and that puts it up into the formula. So I didn't have to delete what was there. It just deleted that for me and put back order in. Then I'll do a plus, and pending, I'll double click it, plus shipped. So we're going to get the total of those 3, and I'll click Add and OK. Now what's happened is it still has canceled our other 3 items and sold. So we're getting double the amount for each of these items. So the last step here would be to hide the 3 items that are being included in sold. And now we just have canceled and sold. So that's a very simple calculated item. The other type of formula in a pivot table is a calculated field. So this is the same data. I've now listed all the sales reps here, how many total units they sold, and the total amount of their sales. We're going to give everyone a bonus, and it's going to be based on what total they sold. So I've got a cell selected in this pivot table. Go to Analyze, Fields, Items, and Sets, and this time we've got a value field selected, so it's not offering to let us make a calculated item for that. So calculated field, and we're going to name this, and we'll call it bonus. And now we have fields, but there's no list of items. This time we're strictly working with the fields. We want to do something with this total, so I'll double click. It puts it in there, and for our bonus they're going to get 3% of their sales. So I'll do an asterisk to multiply, and 0.03 would be our multiplier. Click OK, and there's the bonus that each person will get based on 3% of their total sales. And the last thing we'll take a look at while we're creating formulas in a pivot table is getting a list of all those formulas that we've added. So this is helpful if you're taking over a pivot table that someone else built, or if you built something a while ago and you can't remember what's in it. Just select a cell in a pivot table, go back to Fields, Items, and Sets on the Analyze tab, then go to List Formulas, and it puts a new sheet in the workbook. And we've got calculated fields, if you have any. It might be blank. We've got calculated item, and it lists any, or if you don't have any, you just have the heading there. It also shows the solve order, and there's a note at the bottom about how that works. And I've got videos that show more about the solve order. Then the name of the calculated field or item, and then it prints out the formula. For more Excel tips and tutorials, please visit my Contextures website at www.contextures.com.